G'day guys, Vindicator Jones here. Today we're starting our new podcast. I have Obsidian Ant with me, Chaos Wolf, Cornelius Breedus, and Troa Buttons decided to join us as well. So thanks for coming along, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, happy to be here.
Hello.
So we've all been playing beta, obviously. Well, most of us have. I've been having problems playing, but I've played a little bit. But a lot of you guys have been playing quite a lot, so let's probably just get straight into it. What's your first initial reactions about beta? How do you feel about it? Just, like a quick paragraph of how you feel about it so far.
Want to go down the list or something?
Yeah, sure.
All right, shall I start then? Well, the first thing I thought when I first attempted the beta, especially when trying to modify weapons, was bloody hell, I didn't realise I just walked into a casino. But it's grown on me a bit more since then, especially with the changes that are coming to the way it's going to be working. So I'm not too worried about it yet. I'm actually quite enjoying it.
Okay, cool. That's fair enough. I sort of agree. I think it still needs a bit of work, but probably, I think it needs to be reined in a little bit more, the RNG nature of it. But I'm sort of getting it and liking it. What about you, Cornelius?
Well, I don't like limits. Rest I can live with, but limits on materials, and it's just awful in my opinion. And also they now tweaked frequency of special abilities down to what they expect to be in live build. And I don't know if you tried, it's like 1 in 15 attempts you get special ability. You can sacrifice your reputation for that, but we'll see how it works.
I think they're going to change that a bit around, aren't they? They're going to make it so that you actually select to a limited degree of what special ability you can get.
Yeah. But at the loss of reputation.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that bit, unfortunately. Fair enough. Okay, what about you, Mr. Obsidian Ant?
Well, said before, really, that in a lot of areas of the game, and it seems to be apparent as well with the engineers. I like what they've done with the engineers in the way they've got the all the new characters there and their bases, and the fact they're introducing new modules and weapon upgrades. But I feel there's a bit of a disconnect between the way the gameplay itself is implemented when you compare it to the other parts of the game. Like everything else has always been about realism, like the planets, and you've got the really good flight model for all the ships and all the rest of those sort of things, and they're very much simulation. And then you've got this element of gameplay which is very much menu driven. I'm not sure if that makes sense, what I'm getting at there.
Yeah, it's turned into like a...
This is where I'm coming from. Yeah, it's very, very... I don't really want to get at the randomness of it because the RNG is kind of separate. I'm not too keen on it, but I think Frontier are going to address that at least a little bit. But I'm not a big fan of everything being menu-driven. It feels like there's a disconnect between the player and the crafting itself. Yeah, not like I'm not 100% involved in the process.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not really... we're not really in the process at all, are we?
Yeah, basically just clicking buttons on the screen, aren't you? You just fill up X amount of material and press a button.
But when
it works in most games.
True.
Exactly. With the rest of the game, you feel more involved. I feel more involved anyway. They've gone more for realism. I'm not sure how they could convert that into the engineers themselves, but I'd like to just at least feel a bit more involved, let's put it that way.
I'd actually like to see it turn into like a bit of a mini game, perhaps, where you've got to try and time it or somehow be more involved in how the turnout of the module turns.
Oh no, not a quick time event.
Oh, not something like that. No. Something else, sir. Not a quick time event. No.
I was thinking that there should be some kind of, an example, engineers have some tasks for you. You don't need materials, but they give you, after completing of specific task, 1 attempt.
Yeah, I think
so
we discussed this earlier, didn't we? Where it's more of a story driven, where you've got to maybe perhaps go somewhere, fight off a group of targets, land, maybe collect or steal the materials you need or whatever, something like that, then somehow get out of there and fly back with those materials that you need for your module. Or something along those lines.
I have no doubt that that's going to be virtually how it's going to work sometime down the road, because a lot of these things are stuff that's wanting to be implemented into this game anyway, but as of yet, I think they're making the most out of what they've currently got, although, like I said previously, it does feel like you're kind of walking into a casino when you're going into one of the engineers' bases, especially with the roulette wheel at the bottom. That really rubbed me the wrong way when I saw that. Even if they kept the like a little waveform animation in the middle, but just didn't have the roulette thing around the outside, I'd be happier with that. It was just literally the roulette thing around the outside that really ground my gears the wrong way.
It even sounds like a roulette wheel. Yeah, ding, 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 ding.
You can click and don't have to watch this.
Yes,
I always do that. I click enter actually. That way, at least you can. Yeah.
I've just been making lots of videos though, so I can't do it. I can't just skip it on everything. I have to show people how it works, and it's just been driving me insane. And I do feel that we've been basically lulled into a little bit of a false sense of security with these modifications as well, because right now these engineers are working for fish. They're little performing seals right now, but as soon as it goes on the live server and we have to go getting the materials again, then it's going to start showing its real true colors again.
Yeah, I'm afraid of that as well.
Well, I was about to ask Tro, what do you think? How do you feel with beta so far?
I think it's fantastic. First of all, the game feels completely different now than it did, obviously before the beta. It feels more fleshed out, but it doesn't feel quite finished or integrated as well as it could be.
Some bones are sticking out of flesh.
Yeah, it's not all in the meat bag. The biggest thing that really kind of bugs me is, again, I'm all for smuggling and the macabre professions in the game, and it just feels like to me they could really have incorporated all of this, at least all the micro and macro materials that you're going to need to actually produce these modules at engineers. If you could actually get those at black markets, purchase them from black markets, buy them from sell them to black markets, actually have a resource of them at black markets that is created by players, so miners and everything can go gather them, sell them to the black market, and then other smugglers can trade them and pirates can steal them and sell them back. There's a big gap there I think they could really incorporate it into, and it would give us an option to go past the grind. And if you have the money, if they made them really expensive, so they were really, worth something to a pirate and they were dangerous to carry as a smuggler, then it would be much better incorporated, and it would give us a way to skip the grind if you have nothing else to do with your millions of credits.
But
billions.
That's kind of you can't share materials. You can't share.
Yeah,
and you can't eject them. You can only discard them. And actually, I was saying exactly the same to Vindicator. We need a market for materials, so we collect crap because of limit. But at least we know that we can exchange like grade 5 grade 1 materials to 1 grade 2.
So yeah, that would be great.
And we get in the end what we want. We waste a lot of hours, but still we get what we want. No, there's no guarantee.
I think the black market should be player-driven, like some element of player-driven economy, where, like you said, you're able to sell stuff, but at extremely high premium.
Yeah, that way it's dangerous to carry and dangerous to steal.
And it'd be more profitable for pirates, more profitable for smuggling, and even for people mining. If you find, particularly, expensive resource or whatever, you can go and sell that on the black market.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the scavenger profession isn't really fleshed out. It can be the most dynamic profession because you can do everything as a scavenger. You can be a pirate, you can be a smuggler, everything, depending on what you find and pick up. And
the smuggling side of it, that one a bit more fleshed out. I'd definitely be doing that a lot more myself. Sorry, carry on.
Oh, no. And the thing that really bothers me the most, again, there's the whole casino feeling, which I actually kind of like. And I didn't think I was going to like it, but I do kind of like it. I just wish it was tightened up a little bit, so it's always an upgrade. and you're less likely to get something that's good but doesn't have a special effect or can make it to where it's a special effect you want. But the biggest thing that's bothering me is that there's no storage system for your modules or anything that you spend all this time to get and have no way to store it. I think it's kind of a big deal that that's not in the game now, especially. I mean, there was always the whole problem with
the same kind of gripe.
They should raise ship limits then, if they can't implement storage. I need at least 50 ship limited stations now.
I agree. I agree.
What is the ship limit? I've never reached it. I don't know what it is.
24. Plus your ship, so yeah. It's not even 29.
Which is how many ships there are currently in there. So you can't even have one of every ship at one station. I mean, it's not necessarily a Shinrada Desra thing. It's some people have their home system somewhere else and they want to have all their ships in one place, and I can't blame them. It's kind of makes sense that we would be able to have the ability to store at least one of every ship and be able to store modules, especially now that they're a big deal and they take all this time to make. That's kind of the biggest thing that rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, no, about modules, they should implement, it's not, I checked, if you sell your module and you don't rebuy it like in 10-15 minutes, it's gone. They should make that modded modules do not disappear so fast, at least 1 hour, give it to players to buy back.
Yeah, that would be a good thing as well, because like we kind of discussed before going live briefly, if you have an internet disconnect or something, that can royally screw you over.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to switch them. Yeah, in the middle of outfitting or something and something horribly goes wrong, which it does happen.
Yeah, it certainly does. I've been doing a lot of outfitting recently. I definitely know that.
Yeah, who doesn't? Yeah.
Okay, well, look, in our previous podcast, we had a lot of people say, well, not a lot of people, but a few people have said we were bashing Elite. Now, I want to make this really, I want to stress this point highly. We're not trying to bash Elite Dangerous. In fact, we love Elite Dangerous. No. That's why we make videos about Elite. I just think it's good to talk about, discuss what we feel could be a bit better to try and make the game a bit better. And I think that's...
Yeah, we have to discuss it more balanced, don't we? We have to have a balanced discussion, both the positive and the negative, really.
Yeah. So that's probably what I want to talk about now, is what we feel is positive about the game. What we feel is positive about beta and where it's going. Personally, for me, it's the ability to have so many different customized ships now. So ships are not either falling into metas. You're going to have fast ships that are lightly armoured but are super fast, and you're going to have heavily armoured ships that are a bit slower. And you're going to have all these different variables, which I think is awesome. That's what I personally love.
Yeah. You can change so much about the different ships now. I mean, I'm currently working on an exploration special for my Pimp My Ride series, and just how much you can buff up exploration vessels is really insane. Not only that, but combat vessels.
About anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, last night we were on a big beta blowout event with a bunch of other groups on the beta server, and that was insane. I had a Imperial cutter with over 6,750 megajoules of shields, and it was I don't know. I think this is like one of the almost the max I could get. We actually got bored because I couldn't get killed by other players, so I eventually decided to try and take on the station just to see how long I would last, and I was there for a good few minutes.
Actually, with the right loadout, you would be dead in seconds.
yeah, the right loadout, yes. The thing is, though, the beta's that new is that not everybody knows this, especially the people we were going up against. They weren't working on PvP builds. They were looking at everything else other than the combat side of the beta. But it just so happens that I've been focusing on almost nothing but that. And a lot of my wolves have been doing the same. Yeah, that's my piece.
I really need to come up with a name for my subscriber base.
Overpowered compared to others. But well, let's see if they tweak anything till Thursday. Yeah, we go live on Thursday.
Oh, really? This Thursday coming up?
Yes, 26th. It goes live on Thursday.
Oh, yeah, that's. I've heard a few people said that it's coming out a bit too soon. What do you guys reckon? Should it stay in beta a bit longer, or should it come out?
I really think it should stay longer. I really do. If they're adding that new mechanic with the favors, it really needs to be tested out before it goes live. If they're adding that new mechanic with the engineers,
yeah. The only problem with that,
releasing it early.
Yeah, the only problem with that though is it's already 3 months behind as it is. So how much more time can they go and take on it? Because they can't get
a couple of days.
This is true in a couple of days. Yes, that's fine. But what's going to be happening to 2.2? We should have been there already. Really.
You know what's funny? If we remember how it was in past, in example, last year also, beta 2 weeks, and a lot of bugs reported, but none of them were fixed. So I don't think they need to increase the time for beta or decrease. They just need to fix bugs.
Well, I think they're all working on it, but they are kind of a small team in comparison to any other game developer, really.
Well, one thing I've noticed about Elite is that they don't do hot fixes as often as they really should. If there's something that's really messing with gameplay or something. Yeah, but I mean, if they were more on top of that, I wouldn't have a problem. Go ahead, release it. Let's get it out for the world, and then we'll fix it as it goes. I mean, that's much better because then you can fix what's really a problem instead of just chasing your tail. But the hot fixes, they're really good up front for a lot of the technical things. They're great at that once it goes live, but it's the balance issues and things like that they don't tweak right away. It takes a whole patch cycle to get to it. But I guess to...
where is he? Max Nubber. Yes, there is a fifth guy in the discussion. Tro Barton decided to join last minute before we actually had a chance to update all the art. So yes, Tro Barton is here as well, just so you're not completely confused.
Yeah, I'm kind of... it's kind of a gamble whether or not I show up because I have to be able to be awake. Unfortunately.
It's a bit of a lottery time for you, really, isn't it?
Well, it's not that. It's my disability, but we don't want to get on that topic. So, right. I guess to get back onto topic as to what we actually like about the game, the biggest thing that I love about the beta and what's coming to be coming out is the graphical improvements to lighting and shadows and atmosphere and everything. It makes such a huge difference, and the traffic control, love that. Absolutely love that. It adds a lot of atmosphere to the game.
It's very atmospheric. Although speaking about the graphical change, I think Obsidian Ant's got a little bit of a point to make on that front.
Well, I'm happy with the traffic control because I suggested it.
I don't hear Obsidian.
No, I see his light flashing, but I don't hear him.
Obsidian?
Oh, okay. Same here. I thought that maybe that's just me. You mean graphical problems on planet surfaces, yeah?
Yes.
Because I did not land and I did not see a single graphical problem.
No, I haven't seen it myself, but a lot of commanders are claiming that there are more issues like it. Hello?
Have you tried to break speed of light in regular flight?
I've tried.
No,
we did manage to get an Eagle up to 2,500 meters per second in normal flight.
Cool. Now you need to do same, but hit the letterbox.
Yes, we did. We were thinking about this, trying to play Sidewinder Golf or something. It would have been hilarious.
Yeah. Spaceball.
Baseballs, yes.
That's a new mini game you can play with 4 wheels.
Yeah, I think we've got to try that as a community event.
And you know what I want? Go to asteroid field or ice rings, stand outside one guy, another guy shoot, and he must not be hit by asteroid. That's the point of the game.
Asteroid billiards. Sounds awesome.
Call it Sidewinder pool or something.
Yeah, if you turn off shields, it's even more like Russian roulette.
Yeah, I still like the idea of Spaceballs. Really, it just weaponized nostalgia there. Really. But yeah, Obsidian's back again in the chat. Can we actually hear him this time?
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but you
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Welcome back.
Right, is it loud enough there?
Yeah, you sound fine.
A bit too loud, I think.
Good. Okay.
You're a bit overdriven.
Yeah, I think
you're a bit too loud, Ant.
Oh yes.
How's that?
That's better.
That's much
perfectly
better.
fine.
Spot on.
So you were wanting to talk about the graphical issues that are plaguing planetary surfaces?
Just mentioned that in the chat there. Instinct has brought it up. He says that planets are blurry in the mid to close range now compared to version 2.0. And
right, okay.
I don't know if you've got a way there of showing the video I linked to earlier of you there, Vindicator, Tom?
Look, I don't at the moment. I probably can do in the future, but at the moment I'm not too sure how to set that up. I'll probably try and figure that out for next time.
But basically what it is that when you're right down on the surface of the planet itself and just a few meters above it, you've got these lovely new surface materials and textures that Frontier have brought into the game. But a lot of people, if they're about 200 meters and above the surface of the planet, you get much lower quality geometry, which seems to be a lower polygon mesh, and the textures seem to be a lot lower as well. And I think Frontier are aware of it. They've mentioned that it's affecting icy planets, but the example I've done a video of is on a high metal content world, and a number of other people have mentioned it's affecting all worlds as well. So I think it's just a glitch. It's something they can fix, but overall the graphics of the beta are a lot better, really good.
Yeah, I haven't had any problems, to be honest, on planetary surfaces, so I don't know if it's a graphics issue or graphics card issue or driver issue.
Yeah, I'm possibly not sure myself either.
Frontier themselves have confirmed there is a glitch in their terrain generation.
Well, I've not been spending much time looking at planetary surfaces. The main graphics I've been seeing is the graphics of explosions.
I think did they make the explosions bigger? Because it doesn't seem so to me, but other people have said it is.
I hadn't noticed myself, to be perfectly honest.
They change explosions every time. They add some small stuff every time. They look better now, I think.
I spent last night using a lot of pack hounds, so just watching lots of little micro explosions was hilarious.
How are they? Are they any better now? Or?
I don't know. I never used them before this patch, so I don't really have anything to compare it to, really. But they do generate a lot of heat, and on the cutter that I was using on the Mayhem event last night, I managed to get my heat so high it literally burnt off all the external weapons from my ship.
Ouch.
Wow. It really doesn't make sense though, but wow.
Yeah, I know. So I lost all 4 pack hounds that I had. It's probably because I had 4 pack hounds and my heat kept going up to around 300 because I kept forgetting to pop heat sinks before letting off a volley, but that was my own fault. But it got to the point where it's like, I can't be bothered to fly back. I'll just detonate the ship. I'll just self-destruct the ship to get back faster.
Every time do that. I've never land. I did not land a single time. Well, actually, I landed on engineer bases, but other than that, no. I just refuse to do that.
Yeah, no, I have to do this myself now. Well, not detonate, but I have to do a lot of flying around in this particular beta because of all the Pimp My Ride videos I'm doing and having to go from the station to from Dalton to the closest engineer and back again. It's just really a lot more time consuming because whereas before, if I was just doing ship reviews, I could just detonate the ship and go straight back to Dalton. But no, I can't do that this time.
They gave us fish for modifying, but why did they do that? Easiest would be just take it away and do whatever we want. We again wasted our time for fish.
I think it's they had to have
most engineers have them.
I think they just had to actually had something in there just for the mechanic of it because they couldn't change the mechanic of it. They could just change the value, but not the mechanic. But I don't know. Could be. I don't know.
Yeah,
Millard
Talebi, or if I'm actually even saying that right, is asking how the delay to 2.1 is going to affect the future patches of Season 2. And currently we don't know at the moment.
It will delay. It will definitely delay.
Yeah, it'll definitely be delayed, but by how much, we don't know.
Do you guys see David Braben's comment about the arrival of Thargoids and aliens?
What, winter is coming? Yeah.
Winter is coming, which would be patch 2.4 in winter. So,
but I'm sorry, if winter is coming as fast as in Game of Thrones, we will see Thargoids after 10 years only.
Yes.
It suggests to me that patch 2.4 is still on schedule for winter.
Season 6,
So it
winter
would seem
2025.
It does feel like they're going to be more evenly spread out again. So perhaps we're there, because the thing is, they will have been working on them in the background, because they don't just work on one patch at a time. So I imagine that we're going to be in a couple of months, see like 2 months or so, perhaps see or start hearing about 2.2. This is what I suspect. What do you guys think?
That sounds about right. I mean, they're probably already working on it right now.
I do suspect they've been working on it.
They definitely have a roadmap for it, that's for sure. But I think they're probably busy trying to fix all the things that are going to go wrong once beta goes live, to be honest.
Yeah, my understanding is they've got one team for essentially each patch. Yeah, because they're working on different elements. If you look at each patch coming up, you've got Guardians, which is about passengers. Then the Commanders, isn't it, which is about the player avatars. And you've got different teams working on all of these different elements. So possible, perhaps we get a patch every 2 months, because that's what they're going to need to do to get them all out by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's what I suspect. Although there's a comment here by the mother. It says, speaking of graphics, I can understand that the graphics have been improved even, but is it good enough? Or is it a welcome and satisfactory change, but had you expected more? So I think Obsidian Ant's probably the better one to ask this question too.
And I think they're pretty much spot on to what I would have liked to have expected to see. The ice rings and some of the planetary rings are not quite as good as they were back during beta. That's beta 2014.
Yes,
but they're getting there now.
Beta.
Yeah,
they're getting back to where it
much
used
better
to
than
be.
they were. Yeah,
at least
they're
we're not having the graphical
direction.
popping. At least we're having the graphical popping that we had. Sorry, I'll shut up now.
Haven't really seen anyone comment on the updated graphics for the ships. They've been greatly improved if you look at all the new shaders that are on them.
Yeah, my Fer-de-Lance looks a lot better now. All the shadows aren't shimmering anywhere near as much. It looks cleaner and just looks so much better.
Better reflection on them. The cockpits reflect a lot better if you're looking at them on the outside.
Oh, and the glass.
Let's talk about the cockpits for a second. Talking about the cockpits for a second, I think all Imperial pilots are going to be a lot happier now. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, my royal butt cheeks are no longer offended.
Not only that, but the reflective surfaces on the dashboards as well. That's awesome. I mean, I only noticed it when I was flying around in, I think it was like the Cutter when I first got into it in 2.1. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Oh my god, it's got reflections.
There's carbon fiber in here.
Yeah, they look great.
I like the lens flare effects that have come in as well. Those are amazing. I was I didn't expect to see them. It's like when I first logged into 2.1, I was like, looking around, wait a sec, something's different. What the hell is it? It took me ages to work out what it was. That the graphics have been upgraded to such levels.
What I think it is that everything just looks. It's not like a massive upgrade. It's just little bits and pieces that you don't really notice until you really look at them and you think, oh, yeah, that definitely does look better.
Yeah, so much adds to it in lots of different areas. They're like the new mist in the stations. I think that gives
that looks awesome.
A lot more depth. It looks a lot more. The space looks a lot bigger.
And you don't have to wait anymore for blast doors when you launch.
Yeah, no, I really do like the fact that the colours are a lot more vibrant as well. I just looking at the colours of the ships, it just pops so much more for me.
Oh yeah, and the gold Anaconda is actually gold now.
Oh, is it?
It
awesome.
is. It's not just a shiny brown. Yeah.
No. I'm gonna have to look at that.
And the chromes are amazing as well. I mean, I've got a video up about this is the first Pimp My Ride video I did on the Vulture. I have a chrome skin on it. It looks proper chrome. It's awesome. It's not just like ever so slightly shiny grey like it used to be.
It used to look black to me. Just with a
it did appear, didn't it?
You had to get it at the right angle to get the specular.
I might have to check that out now.
Yeah,
that's the whole reason I didn't get one.
Yeah, no, the chrome and metallic style paint schemes just look 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times better. But we've got another question, actually, which is by Alexei Jaeger, I think it is. Are we going to get alien ships, or are they going to be disguised as humans, as one of the engineers suggests in one of Obsidian Ant's videos, which was highlighted in a newsletter? So, aliens,
no
are
idea.
they going to be coming in under the radar? What we don't know.
We don't know.
They will have their own ships, definitely. They will not fly Sidewinders, because if they do...
Let's hope they don't have Sidewinders.
No. I do suspect they will be having their own ships, but
other ships, yeah.
Yeah, they'll be like motherships, their own fighters. I'm pretty sure they'll have their own kind of cruiser-style ships as well.
Didn't we have like to see if they've got their own capital ships as well?
Didn't they have like a while back with there was a Diamondback going around a station that was really fast. It had special numbers on it and stuff, and people were hinting at that. I think
that's what started off some of the theory of people saying that maybe there's aliens using human technology or modified human technology. At least
I think that's kind of what dictated Alex's question.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking, that maybe they'll do like a slow invasion with our technology, and then all of a sudden they're here and they'll bring out their main force. I'm hoping that's what'll happen.
Yeah, I think they're slowly kind of taking over certain parts of, or certain aspects of human society and so on. And once they've reached their initial goal, the invasion proper will probably start then.
We've also
kind of getting away from the topic now, aren't we?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Vindicator, I have a question also for you and Chaos Wolf. What do you think of heatsink nerf? I mean, I think it's meant by 1 ammo less now.
Yes, it's reduced by 1. It doesn't sync.
Doesn't change anything, actually, no.
It doesn't change.
To be honest, no, it doesn't change anything because most people run with multiple heatsink banks anyway. I mean, in my fertile lance,
can you call it a nerf?
I wouldn't call it a nerf.
Increased heat for weapons is nerf, but not heatsink ammo.
It's a slight nerf, but the only reason being is because the amount of heat sinks that you have in a single launcher no longer corresponds to the amount of charges you have in a shield cell bank. So it's an indirect nerf to shield cell banks.
Right, but there are different amount of charges per different rating shield cell banks.
Yeah,
B has most.
All the A-rated ones have the same, but the B-rated ones have 1 extra charge.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but most people who run with shield boosters were running with the A-rated cell banks anyway. So yes, it's going to be an indirect
B
nerf.
holds bigger charge in total.
Yes. In total,
so if you have two B has more sense, makes more sense to have.
Yes, but even they've changed the way shield cell banks work as well. They no longer fire off simultaneously if you have 2 powered at the same time and you press the dedicated button. You have to have them in a fire group in order for that to happen now. So they're trying they're trying to move away from shield cell spam, I think.
Well, I don't really think it was that much of an issue. I don't think it was ever really big.
What do you think of these thermal weapons now?
Oh God, yeah.
Have you tried them?
Yes,
I have.
I think
Which one? Because one is crap and one is good. Which one you tried?
Oh God, the one that's
I was using Packhound missiles with it was Packhound missiles with the increased heat on the target. That was quite
thermal
funny.
cascade, yeah.
I think it is. Yes, it's not the one.
Yeah, but you can't keep pressure in Packhound, no.
No, you can keep pressure a little bit, but not much. No.
I mean, for a minute you can.
Yeah, for about a minute or so, you can probably do that, maybe. But you have to wait between reloads. But in laser weapons, in laser weapons, you can pretty much keep people hot for ages. But
laser weapons do not have cascades; they have thermal shock. It's different.
Ah, right, okay.
Cannons have thermal cascade, and fragments, I think, also have missiles.
I think multi-cannons too, don't they? Multi-cannons, I'm pretty sure.
No. Only thermal shock. Cannons only have from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I much prefer the incendiary rounds on the multi-cannons just because of... Yeah, those are awesome because you can just use them for against shields. So you can pretty much run a full multi-cannon build on the ship.
It's insane.
Yes, I did as well. It's insane. Especially if you...
7 multi-cannons.
I've done that.
It's awesome.
Yeah, just max them out all with incendiary rounds with increased ammo capacity, and you're going to be there for days.
I approve of this message.
What do you guys think about the fact that quite a lot of people are saying that the new meta is going to be heat? I mean, earlier on we were saying that there's not really a new meta in there, but there's a lot of people saying that it could well possibly go that way.
It could very much so.
It is new meta.
Yeah, but
that and torpedo boat.
What you can do against somebody when you are 200% cooked? What you can do? You can't open fire. You can't charge framesheet drive. You can't boost if you have 200-300% heat on you. Only heatsink.
Yeah, they did say they were going to change.
I heard they're going to change that though.
Yeah, it's being changed slightly due to player feedback. They said what they're going to do is add heat drop, diminishing returns. So the hotter that the ship you're firing at is, the less efficient your weapons, the less heat your weapons will generate towards them.
It doesn't help at all. Maybe they will tweak further, but for now, tweaked, it does not work.
Well, apparently we're thinking of doing it with a cap as well, so that it only goes up to a certain percentage of heat. I don't know exactly how they're going to use it.
I would even say that you should only 150 maybe, and not anymore.
Yeah, the cap they were talking about was that.
I'd like to see those weapons do internal damage to yourself over a longer period of time.
Oh, it was doing that to my ship, and I was doing it because I was always running hot. But they did say that the cap that they were thinking of implementing was going to be just below where it would start causing hull damage. So that would be a welcome change, I imagine. I've not really been on the receiving end of all these heat weapons because, like I said, all I've been doing is just testing out and modding out different ships. I've not been really doing much PvP.
I've tried it. It's crazy. It's way overpowered. It's not even interesting.
I'm just glad they're getting. They're not nerfing, but they're fixing silent running builds.
You still can I tried. You can still be very, very long time, but with correct loadout. And because now you don't need lasers or railguns, you can have same incendiary rounds on your multi cannons.
Yeah.
And as we all know, multi cannons are not power hungry, not heat generating weapons. So silent run is still very viable.
Yeah, but they can't do the rail gun, the rail lancers.
No, but
silent runnings.
Did not make sense to have railguns on silent run.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what they were running.
But now we have much more options against them. Same thermal shock, thermal cascade, emissive rounds, and a lot to counter this. That's good. I actually didn't try emissive, but I imagine if you shoot with thermal cascade cannons once, he already has plus 150%. Just one hit.
I tried the thermal cascade on them. I was just trying the 4 shells, and like we said earlier, I managed to get an eagle going at over 2,500 meters per second in real space.
Yeah, but you need to kill them, not push away. If you push away, they are 20 kilometers right away. How can you catch them?
Yes. This was just a test to see what would happen against small ships. But it was quite fun, actually. Yeah, well, with big ships, it wasn't as much of an issue because they just didn't move as far. It was actually very good as well because I was fighting 2 federal ships, a gunship and an assault ship, and they kept trying to get around me whilst I was using these 2 gimbaled huge cannons with 4 shells. And every time they tried to go over the top of me, I just shot them and pushed them back in front of me. No, you're not getting around me. Stay where I can see you, kind of thing.
But you can now push out your big ships. An example, if you want to get out of combat cutter or anaconda, just kick it with 4 shell and it's out 10 kilometers away. In example, it loses shields. You just push it out so he can survive. Or push combat ships, slow ones, into combat, but it's trickier. He will overshoot.
Yeah. That's what I'd love to try.
No, we were thinking about trying something like gimbaled cannons with 4 shells on like a Type 9 or a trade ship or something for if you're trying to get away. You just let the cannons just fire back behind you at the ship.
Actually, what's funny, away. If you can have Sidewinder on Type 9, you can equip it with 2 4 shells, and when enemy comes out, you just launch Sidewinder, he shoots at you at Type 9, and Type 9 is far, far away.
You can always put mines.
Super boost,
You could always put mines on the front of your Type 7 and just deploy them immediately by getting chased. And you'll end up behind your attacker.
Okay, well, there's a question somebody's posed. There's Dicot. Sorry if I've pronounced that incorrectly. Guys, what direction is Elite going? Korean MMO or flight sim?
Korean flight sim.
Korean MMO flight sim.
Yeah.
Well, we've already got one part of the Holy Trinity coming into the game now. We've got the heal beams, and they are insanely overpowered. One of my Wolfpack were using a Class 4 gimbaled beam laser modded for healing, and he was healing my shields. Bearing in mind my shields are over 6,000 megajoules strong.
It's very fast. I've tried it. It's very fast.
Yes,
it's crazy.
It's very fast. It was charging them up faster than a shield cell bank did.
Yeah. No, you can't compare because you don't need anything. You just need him to shoot at you, and you. Yeah.
And how long can the other guy shoot like that for? How much energy does it use up when he uses those healing weapons?
It's same as normal shooting.
Yeah, it's about
so he can keep firing them for pretty much as needed.
If I remember rightly, you can carry on firing for about between 10 and 15 seconds with a huge beam on a Fer de Lance, which is what he was using.
Yeah, more than enough time then.
On other ships, it's kind of a bit different. Because you can't make... Because that's one of the things that's different. There's different types of modifications for different types of weapons. Like with pulse lasers, you can make them more efficient. So they use less capacity draw, less power, but your potential damage goes down. But for beam lasers,
it's better.
You can only go for beam lasers. You can only really go overcharged, lightweight mounts or
no.
Mounts.
Beam lasers have only short range, long range, and sturdy mount.
Right.
No overcharge.
Right.
Yeah. But the problem is that I don't know what short range does. I need to test it with somebody because it might have two effects.
Yeah, short range is more powerful, isn't it? They do more damage.
Yeah, it makes them more powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, but if they have damage 3,000 meters and deal like 100% at 1.5 kilometers and like 30% at 3 kilometers, what happens if you decrease that range? Will it deal also damage penalty over distance? How it works?
I think it just because what happens when ships go out of your optimal range, you just can't damage them anymore. When you get the little red crosses over your
no. I mean, you know that 1.5 kilometer is optimal. From 1.8, you start losing damage. Even with railguns, you lose a lot. Actually, you lose 2 or 3 times of your damage. I've tested it.
True.
So if you fire from 2 kilometers, you will lose like for 50-60% of damage. But what happens if you shorten that? I mean, you can't shoot from 3 kilometers anymore, but only from 1.5. But will the damage be same as for unmodded at 1.5, or it will be with penalty? That's the question.
That would be a penalty, I would assume. If your weapons, you probably do maybe another 50% more damage under 1 kilometer, but you may lose.
No. It's not that much. It's like 3, 5, 10%. It's you can't get 50%.
Oh, I'm just throwing numbers around, man. I wasn't being literal. Yeah. But I don't know. I haven't tested those weapons.
I need somebody to shoot at to see. And the fun part, there are weapons which you don't need these stats at all. All you care about is a special ability.
Yeah, exactly.
Like same as torpedoes, an example. You don't care anything, only the special ability. Same with cannons. You don't care about damage. This reverberant cascade, which shields off.
Yeah.
So there are actually some weapons we will be able to get like in day 2, 3 of playing live build, because only first grade 1 mod will already be enough. Same as the thermal cascade.
Yeah, we got somebody asking again if Obsidian Ant's working. His mic isn't working again. Are you still there, Obsidian?
I'm here.
Yeah, he's still here. We're good.
Yep, you can hear me.
You probably just dozed off, bored him.
Yeah, he's old, so don't worry about it.
All right. Need all the sleep I can get.
Yeah. But no, somebody else was asking Sorry, you were saying?
I just got a quick question there for you all. Have you tried any combat over planetary surfaces yet?
I have done a little bit, not much, but it was kind of interesting because the gravity was holding onto my ship a lot more. So basically, it was a lot more difficult to maneuver my ship around rather than if I was in. I don't remember which one I was in at the time.
I was in live stream when I couldn't complete that mission. I was in Fer de Lance. I didn't feel anything. Yeah, it's gravity slightly, but still, it was funny to kill all those small ships near planet.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember. I'll have to go back and check the video.
Definitely varies depending on what sort of ship you're in. The heavier the ship, the more of a problem it can be.
Yeah,
true.
I tried it in a Corvette, and it was a bit a bit interesting, to say the least. Then I tried it in the Fertilands and I didn't feel a thing.
Yeah, Fertilands I didn't feel because it's too powerful thrusters and agile.
Yeah,
try Cutter. Cutter will probably use as the funniest ship, or Type 9, but nobody finds Type 9.
No. But speaking of the powerful thrusters on the Fertilands, one of my Wolfpack members actually managed to get their Corvette to around about 560 meters per second boost speed, I think it was. He literally just stripped it out. No, the Fertilands.
Yeah, Fertilands, yeah.
Yeah, he got
it. Yeah,
but
what loadout? Could you fight in this loadout effectively, or is just?
He still had over 2,000 megajoules worth of shields on this thing. So
you just need to get it.
I don't remember. Actually, I have also, I think, above 5. I don't remember now exactly, but I had very, very heavy loadout.
What do you guys reckon of the mission rewards? The actual increase in rewards with the new missions. Are you happy about it?
Slightly better. I would say slightly better. But not impressive
too much on the engineers.
I've seen some really big payout jobs, though. I've seen some assassination missions for 3 to 5 million, which I think is pretty good.
Well, considering my direction
same missions that you need to go planet, land, drive an SRV, and then back in space. I don't know. 3 million is, well, fine, probably.
Well, I mean, considering that NPCs aren't, completely easy anymore for most people, that's, it's something that's actually makes sense that you could get that kind of money for doing it. Because, now it's not like before at all.
I pay with my Eagle.
They fight back.
Hazardous resource extraction site. It was funny. If you want to have fun, get your Eagle. Pimp up your Eagle for combat and have fun. It's crazy agile.
Huh. Oh, it is. Especially with the new drive tunings, it gets even more. It's like 11 out of 10 ability.
But enhanced actually is not better. Well, it depends on mods, but I would say that dirty drives actually for class 3 normal drives. I got slightly better results. I don't know why.
I think the dirty drives with the enhanced drives give you a really good boost, but enhanced drives by themselves, not so much.
Enhanced drives have lower optimal mass. That's the problem. If you want combat ship, probably that's the reason. If you want racing ship, enhanced drives are the way to go. You just light. But you know what? I want to see racing tracks. I want to see checkpoints. I want to see Galnet news about this. I want to participate in something. I don't want to organize myself like we spoke last time.
Yeah, we remember that. But especially now since you can get a Imperial Eagle to 860 odd meters per second boost speed.
And that'd be insane for cannon runners. With force cannons.
Yes.
Imagine team race. Would be very fun. Why not? It's easy. Not very easy, but it's doable. And it's fun.
Force cannons fixed. Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Just pushing people into the side of the canyons.
Be like Mario
Canyons, Bill.
Mario Kart for Elite Dangerous.
But the thing is, if you got a team build up just right, you could literally line yourself up behind one of your teammates, shoot them in the ass, and get them going even faster. And it's pretty much just going to be literally like Mario Kart with the mushroom power up.
Oh, the other thing, one little thing I wanted to bring up over on the topic of the drive enhancements is: have you noticed that the dirty drive, if you turn off your thrusters, your heat doesn't go down? It goes down like 2%. So like that heat.
I imagine you're. Sorry, carry on.
So that heat penalty that you get from the thrusters seems to be static no matter what, which kind of really sucks for a smuggler.
Yeah, it makes sense to me though in a way because you've actually modified the engine itself. So
but it's turned off.
It's going to
How does it make sense to have it on?
It should still be venting the heat through the power plant because the power plant's still.
I know, but it's still the outlets of the actual engine itself would be would be.
Yeah, but they'd be losing heat because they're not being activated.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking about it in the wrong way. I don't know. I'm not exactly a mechanic. I don't know how this would work, but it works in my head canon. Let's just leave it at that.
If something is turned off, it does not require energy. It does not generate
doesn't
heat.
Create heat. Yeah.
Yeah, but the heat doesn't automatically disappear as well. It would make sense if it disappeared.
Yeah, but even if it would take like a minute after, then, but not always. I didn't try. I don't know. But Troa says.
Yeah, perhaps this is something that needs to be addressed by Frontier. I don't know whether this is working as intended, or it could very well be.
Well, I mean, like old school smuggling, we'd turn everything off and then get down to near zero heat and pop a heat sink as we were gliding into the station. That was back in the day. But you can't do that now. So if they change any dynamic to smuggling or anything else like that. By the way, have you guys gotten scanned at all coming into a station?
Not lately, actually.
I was, but I did not smuggle. I just flying out and in, and I was scanned several
I've been
times.
scanned in station, yeah. But speaking of drive upgrades for smugglers, why would a smuggler who's trying to be stealthy and reduce heat go for a dirty drive clean? Wouldn't you go for a clean drive tuning?
Speed.
Oh, it's all about going fast.
Yeah, you can still go faster with that one, but then again, your heat dispersion just gets so much better with a clean drive.
If you're doing long range smuggling, you're getting interdicted a lot. You want speed to get out of those interdictions. That's what I think.
And you
anyway,
want fuel scope as well. You want to be as close to star as possible. So
because if you're fuel scooping, you need to have a better heat dispersion anyway. So the clean drive tuning would help out better.
Exactly, and same as with power plant, you need to have.
I'm talking about sandbox smuggling myself. So, I mean, that's a little bit different. So you loading it up and then on one side and bringing in whatever you're smuggling, not the long distance missions, sandbox smuggling, which I think is better, but doesn't pay as much. But you want to get into the station as quickly as possible.
You're smuggling slaves, Imperial, yeah?
Oh, yeah. That's where you make money. Because you don't make any money with tobacco or drugs or anything like you normally
also,
would.
Actually, narcotics, or which one was that? There was second one, also gave you nice profit.
Narcotics can, if you find like the Goldilocks zone and the holy grail of proper pricing, but you don't know what the demand is ever at a black market. It can be at a place that would want that, but you don't make as much money at the black market.
Bonuses? How's a fixed power play bonus or not?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Because they overfixed and overbroken. Then I stopped trading because it's just.
Well, they nerfed it when people were making too much money, which I thought was actually great because then you could actually get pirated. But I don't even see any players on sandbox smuggling routes because it's not really worth it. They're all doing long-range smuggling themselves to make money.
Exactly. But long-range smuggling is still viable because I've seen posts that Robigo is gone. I didn't try myself lately, but anyone
gone
tried?
Completely?
I haven't tried it.
Like,
Some of the wolf
missions
still doing it.
No, there's still.
I haven't
anyone
tried
tried
it personally.
I tried it on my ASP the other day, so
it works still.
Yeah, it still works.
No, I mean
the beta server.
Oh, beta, no, sorry, no.
No idea in the
build
beta.
works.
It's on my long list of things to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
people
need
are saying
money.
in the chat as well people in the chat are saying that the Cutter and the Corvette have pretty much replaced the Anaconda, especially after all the modifications. Do we agree with this?
No.
I certainly don't.
No way.
I also don't.
Anaconda is the best multi-role ship by far. I mean, the jump
I use
range,
Anaconda always when I need to go to engineer because jump range, and I can buy pretty much every single core internal or weapon and can bring it back, sell, and rebuy on ship I want because I'm not going in Fedlands to engineer. It's stupid. I did it, but I'm not going to do.
No, I really do like the Anaconda because in one of the videos I put up recently, the Pimp My Ride Anaconda thing, I showed just how insanely maneuverable you can make the Anaconda after pimping it out with the engineers. And I was threading that thing through around the asteroids like nobody's business, surgical precision. And this is an Anaconda.
Well, I have to
It's
say
10
that
point something. 10.8 seconds.
I did that in the Corvette, and the Corvette is just psychotically good with a dirty that he drives and uprated handling is just he flies better than a Python, and I'm not exaggerating.
You mean Python
the
before
other
there,
thing.
because Python after mods is much better than Anaconda. But Anaconda and Corvette are very similar. Like I said, I've tried exactly same internal compartments for core internals for both ships, and Anaconda lost only slightly in pitching before and after. So, but they are very similar ships.
I mean, the other thing to consider is all the engineers just amplifies a ship's current
exactly.
stats. You know, if it has strong shields before, it's going to have really strong shields afterward. If it's going to be really fast or really maneuverable,
change.
Yeah, they just get better than what they already are. So the Anaconda can jump further than the other two. It's going to be able to jump further after they're all modded. It's going to be the same thing. Then, all the problems with ships are still going to be present. They're just going to be amplified. So they're still going to be comparatively worse, but they're still going to be better, if that makes any sense.
But you know what's funny? The difference between ships now is smaller. The gap is smaller because Eagle, even while it gains 25% in pitching, compared to what Cutter gains, is much less. Much less. And Cutter just catched up a little bit with other ships. So basically all ships now are closer together. The gap is less now.
Yeah, and the thing I like is that you can get ships that are below on the totem pole and make them comparable to ones that are above it.
Yes.
Not in terms of cargo.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of sad to see that there's no modifications for cargo racks, but making it to where you can use a ship that you normally wouldn't use in a situation because you can make it just as good as another one. I really like that.
Yes, but the big question
Actually, you know
is,
what,
can
guys?
we get...
There's...
the big question. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a quick one. The big question though is, can we get the Royal Turd in the ship lineup, the Cobra Mark IV? Can we get it to actually be usable?
No,
I tried, and no.
I did as well.
I can't find a use for it.
I didn't even make a video about it.
No, I did. That was all I wanted to know. Cornelius, carry on. Sorry, man.
There's a question actually which I see quite frequently lately. How do you think non-Horizon players, commanders, will be able to compete with ones that do not have? Well, I mean, ones who don't own Horizons, how they will be able to play with ones who own? Because engineers only on planets, yeah.
Yeah, well,
they will be absolutely obliterated.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, if it's PvP, you will get smashed. Then again, Frontier needs a way to incentivize people to buy their newer products.
I agree.
This is just their way of doing it.
Yep.
But many are starting now to say about pay to win, which is quite silly because it's downloadable content. It's you knew what you were signed up when you bought the game.
Resistance is futile.
Can't expect,
And let's face
can't
it,
expect everybody have.
I'm sorry, but the updates for Horizon are not that much money compared to some games that you play. I won't even mention Star Citizen. Sorry, I just did, but
or World of Warcraft.
I mean, Christ, the amount of money you could
with subscription is crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Horizon is an expansion after all, isn't it? It's not pay to win in the sense that you're buying golden bullets or a better weapon.
Exactly. I also think
just because you can do that, that's part of the gameplay of Horizons. It's not something you're buying specifically.
And actually, I think they've lowered the price of Horizons just
It's
recently.
£20.
Yes.
It's now £20 down from what it used to be.
Yeah, there you go.
And the other thing is, how are people who don't have the game at all going to compete with people who do?
It's the same principle. That exactly. Yeah, because if you don't own the game, you're already at disadvantage to everybody who owns the game. But
yeah, there was people saying that, how's it going to be for new players coming in for people against people with all these modifications? Well, it's the same for people coming in against people with Anacondas. There's still that much.
Yeah, experienced player, new players. It's exactly the same.
Yeah,
it's hottest on his mouse.
Yeah, it's
with a lot of playtime or not so much playtime.
It's like the old adage that comes.
Even still,
it's like the old adage that comes with
even a good
Dark Souls.
Sorry, mate. A good pilot, a good pilot in a Viper is still going to outmatch an average pilot in an Anaconda, and that's what I love about Elite Dangerous. That's because you have an Anaconda.
You know what's funny?
And have all these upgrades doesn't mean that you're going to be automatically going to win. You know, I've seen some awesome
No.
Viper pilots.
It's not fair to say Viper and Anaconda because they are completely uncomparable.
Well,
ships.
that's what I mean, though. I mean, you take one excellent pilot in a Viper against a very average Anaconda pilot, the Viper's going to win.
Yeah.
That's my view.
But like I was saying, just on the skill level, it's like the old adage, especially with Dark Souls: get better, get good, scrub. Yeah, it seems I got the statement earlier on a bit wrong. Actually, it was about how security forces were using corvettes and cutters more than the Anacondas now. It seems I grabbed the wrong end of the stick and got my hand a little dirty.
Did you see any security forces in? Well, security force maybe, but I would like to see pirates in corvettes and cutters. I would like to kill cutters.
Yeah. I haven't seen them myself, but like I said, I've been only doing like little bits of combat just to show off how the buffs to the shifts are particularly working. So yeah.
You know what? I like how Vulture now, how feels Furtherlands, how feels Python, yeah, also, but after you fly Vulture and Furtherlands, Python is still clumsy.
Yeah.
But it feels improved. It feels different. It feels much more responsive now.
Oh, it
even Eagle.
does.
You can kill with Eagle whatever you want. You can stay wherever you want. Not against players, of course, because they will fly backwards, and we all know how it ends. But against NPCs, even dangerous, I fly, deadly, Eagle can do just fine. With 3 small hard points. It's crazy.
Aye, no, I mean, a lot of people know that should know that I've never really liked the Vulture. I've always thought it was slightly overpowered. Then this comes out, and now it's even more what I consider to be overpowered especially if it's price, because it's only 5 million. Yes, it's too easy.
2 large hard points. It's crazy now. It's crazy now. You can overcharge your multi-cannons, and you can have like 3. Instead of 2 large, you can have like 5 large.
Yeah, no. I always considered it to be too easy to fly because it's got 2 strong shields, it's got great hull armor, and it's pretty much like the premier combat ship for only 5 million.
It wasn't originally meant to be that price, though, was it?
No, originally it was meant to be 20 million.
That's kind of the point, though. I mean, militaries everywhere want the best thing for the cheapest price. So, I mean, it would make sense that the pinnacle of it would be, very good and very cheap.
Yes, for
and if you're going to be dying in combat, your insurance would go down. So, I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, it has its limitations. It had limitations before, but now it really doesn't because of the power plant upgrade.
It has no limitations whatsoever, so it's literally just let off.
But don't forget,
plasma on Vulture.
Don't forget, all combat ships need to have a cargo rack now. So now you're going to have to lose module space for other things.
Yeah, but you can have only class 1 or 2 because you don't need actually cargo. You need only you need limpets if you don't want to scoop.
Yeah, and if you want limpets,
collector.
So now your combat ships are going to be less effective because you're going to have to give up module space for cargo racks or limpets.
No. With mods, they will be more effective.
Because you can buff up the hull reinforcements and stuff, so you can more than make up for the loss of one.
Yeah, but then again, we have to remember these are level 5 upgrades. Not everybody's going to be able to get level 5 upgrades. Not for a long period of time.
Yeah, especially not to begin with.
So we're talking at the extreme scale here.
If we got to remember 5 million and then you had a ship like that, then immediately, it would be scary. But okay, so that makes perfect sense. If it was 5 million plus of a month worth of work to get it where it's in absolutely everything you would ever want, then I'd say I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because my videos that I've been putting up, they are like at the pinnacle of what these ships can do.
Exactly.
I mean, like I said, when I was throwing the Anaconda around an asteroid field, this was only with clean drives as well, because I didn't quite understand the difference between clean and dirty drives at that point. So it could have got even more maneuverable, but I didn't know how to deal with it at the time.
That's why beta actually is good. We can test extreme cases and show how it looks like, and then players or viewers can check our videos and see, I want this, so I know exactly what to do.
Yeah, I like the fact that we've been able to test so much on the beta as well, because now I know what I want to go for first in certain ships. So I know
what you want to go first. You started. Tell us all. What do you want to mod first? Yeah.
I want to go with Alvira Martuk first. She deals with jump, basically frameshift drives and shields. So I'm going to be going with her first to make my shield stronger and my jump drives better.
Yeah,
okay.
the
next one.
Safe.
Yeah, try.
Go ahead.
Now go you.
Oh, okay. All right. The first thing I'm going to upgrade is my frameshift drive on all my ships, especially the Cutter and the Anaconda and the Asp. Those are my first 3 ships I'm going to upgrade the frameshift drive on.
But I have silly question. Frameshift drive upgrade is only viable more or less for grade 5. How you plan to get to grade 5? Don't you think there are like some special abilities for weapons which you don't need grade 5, but you can have it just ability? You don't care about stats at all. Does that make more sense?
It depends on how they have. Because they were thinking about changing how you gain reputation too. So I don't know. It depends on what it's like at release.
No, like when the release comes out, they're supposed to be having it where you can do tasks and stuff for them. Like, let's say Felicity Farseer, you can give her exploration data, and it will fish as well. Yeah, fish and exploration data. So foreign fish,
fishy exploration data.
They really like their fish.
Obsidian.
Yeah.
What about you? What you will upgrade first?
I'll probably go for the FSD drive, but like you say, it depends on how long it takes to get that. And I don't see myself spending days and days of playing just to get a few extra light years out of a jump drive. But other than that, at the moment, I don't know. It depends how they implement the requirements for the upgrades themselves. Depends how long it's going to take.
I also will check which.
Yeah, so speaking of weapons, out of all of them, I really want to go to Todd the Blaster McQueen just for the multi-cannon.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
Vindicator, you thought of any upgrade?
My personal one is Dirty Drives and Frameshift Drive, but I think Dirty Drives first. I love speed, so...
Yeah. So you'll most likely go...
Agility will give you a huge advantage.
Agility and speed is going to be the big deciding factors in combat. Like, you can get yourself out of trouble. You are in control of the combat situation. That's how I've always thought.
You can get yourself faster into trouble.
Exactly. Guaranteed that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I definitely want jump drive boost to my Corvette and my Ferdinand.
Everybody wants, yeah.
I mean,
everybody wants to have 2-3 light year more jump range on Ferdinand's Vulture Corvette.
I mean, I'd be happy. I'd be happy with 15. Well, I think it's only 14 light years, but better than 10 and 11.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But we've got a nice little question in the comments here, again from Alexa Jaeger, which is, should there be a limit or penalty to multiple engineer mods? It seems a little bit too easy to offset the penalties from one mod with bonuses from a second mod. What do we think of that?
Don't really agree.
I don't.
Because, like even the Dirty Drive, for example, its penalty with heat is so massive that you making your power plant to where it doesn't, give off as much heat doesn't really offset it. Dirty Drives,
certainly not.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that for pretty much everything, and you might break even, but you're not going to get a benefit. It's the same way with trying to make like the Cutter maneuverable when I did everything I could to shave weight everywhere, and it really didn't make a difference.
Yes, because it's hull mass. It's too big.
Yeah, I mean, you can go so far, but you can't really get around. I mean, you can in some places, but you can't go as far as it sounds.
But even if you go, you can't do anything in that ship anymore. You just can fly around and that's it.
Yeah.
Why do you need that ship?
It was almost. It was an exercise in futility to get the Cutter down below its minimum mass for its thrusters. Everything had to go. It was completely useless as a ship after that.
I tried one light build without shields, without anything, and I did not gain anything much. So I just forget about this. You can't do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm not worried about there being needing to be a limit for multiple mods, because the mods are going to be so kind of hard to obtain anyway. Because let's not forget, when the live server reaches the live server,
time consuming.
Yeah, that. Well, yeah, it's not going to be as easy as it is now, because right now we just buy fish. The engineers are not going to be working for fish forever, so we're going to have to go out and look for the materials, and it's going to be limited on how many rolls we can get, how many rolls of the dice in the casino that we can actually get.
And I have a question now. Interesting limit you have. Yeah, you want to roll, an example, a weapon or something. Yeah, you have enough materials for one roll. What will you do? Will you keep collecting materials for second roll, or you will go there and hope that first roll will get you what you want?
Me, I think I go for the first roll to start with, and if it's not what I want, then I'll go and get more.
So you'll be flying back and forth, yeah? You will be like 30 minutes collecting, then 20 minutes flying.
I think you do it once. You do it once, and then you'd probably go back and try and collect as much as you can. But you'd have to do it the one time.
Yeah, because the amount of times I've gotten what I wanted after just one roll is actually quite ludicrous sometimes. Not on weapons, obviously, but on other modules that are not weapons.
Mostly you get what you want, actually, in first 3 attempts on the core internals. Yeah. It's very nice.
Weapons and shield boosters are the ones that take the most rolls for the sounds of it, or at least from the feel of it.
And also thrusters and frameshift drive might require a little bit more, because you want to have maximums there. You don't want middle or...
But even then, just even a small increase is a good thing.
No, you know what? They said that the chance is higher if one stat is good, that other stats also will be good. That's a good. Because if it would be completely random, it would be very bad. And also there's a chance, if you have a special ability, for weapons, an example, that your roll will be good. So it's random, but not complete random. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's a good way that they compromised on that one. It's not bad.
Usually, if you have, an example, shields resistance, if you have one good stat, most likely other two also will be close to maximum. So it's good.
Yeah, well, John Bentley's bringing it back around to the favors system that's potentially going to be implemented with the engineers. And will the rolling for weapons, will it really matter what you're going to get? Because if you get the ability to roll for a very specific thing, I mean, yes, you're going to have to go and buff up your reputation with them again. But if you can do this with just like handing in exploration data or bounty vouchers or whatever, it's going to be a lot easier to do. So I think it's going to be easier to actually roll for weapons, because a lot of the time we don't care what the stats are on the weapon as long as we get the special ability that we want.
Well, it's not about the stats.
I don't know. It feels like they're just trading one grind for another. It sounds like it's basically hey, we listen to you.
For everyone who played thousands of hours, just give more thousands of hours to waste.
Yeah, so you want another try, and it would take you, 5 hours to get the material. Well, here's a reputation decrease that will take you 5 hours to get back. It's still 5 hours. It's just how do you spend that 5 hours? It sounds like, to me, from what they've described it, and I hope I'm wrong, is that they're really just trading one grind for another. I really just wish they would have.
That's what I don't like most. There's no guarantee you will have after 5 hours materials you want, because there's too big of random in collecting materials. We tried with Obsidian to upgrade frameshift drive. We spent a lot of time just blindly, and now we would do much smarter, but still. And there's no guarantee you'll get it. That's why I thought the good idea would be to give us tasks.
They should just all accept
a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they should just all accept
how you do it. Sorry, you want to carry on, Troy?
Yeah, I mean, they should all just accept Levy and Brandy, so you can take your engineers some booze, and then they'll just do what you want. That'd be great.
Just bribe them, yeah.
You know what? I would actually like to intimidate them. Like, give me this, or I will shoot you.
Or if it's scaled,
and then they sabotage the module so that you'll blow up when you take off.
But that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, doesn't it? About the engineers update being more gameplay orientated, or as opposed to more menu driven as it is at the moment. You've got no options at the moment other than to just click a few buttons, rather than having a more involving process where it brings in different elements of gameplay. I mean, it does to an extent in that you've got to go out and collect the materials, and you can do that in different ways. But once you're there with the engineer, there's not a whole lot you can really do in order to interact with those guys.
No. We've gotten the complete opposite end of the spectrum from other games like Mass Effect and so on, which is completely story driven. This is like just complete randomness, really. But it would be nice to have some kind of like the Mass Effect-esque kind of story in Elite. Perhaps not on quite such a grand scale as like saving the universe.
Well, I'd like to see it happen. Like I don't know if any of you guys play Star Trek Online, but they have what are called episodes, and they have it's like little story modules where you do a whole bunch of different missions, surface missions, space missions, and there's a little bit of a story that's driving it. It's like an episode of Star Trek, basically. And at the end of that episode, you get some rewards. That's what I'd love to see in Elite.
That sounds pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. And we're going to get something like that in the future.
And you can do it either solo or you can do it as with other players too. And it ramps up the difficulty.
That's a big thing.
And it ramps up the difficulty if you've got more players playing with you, which is, I think, would be awesome.
Yeah, that needs to be part of Elite more than anything else. Being able to do things with friends and being able to scale the pay and difficulty along with it.
Yeah,
it would be nice that if you have. I just think it would be nice to have if you get jumping into a conflict zone, or not even a conflict zone, even a res site with a wing, that perhaps it locks the instance to your wing maybe, and just makes it even harder. Like ramps up the AI, ramps up the amount of AI. So on that'd be interesting to see. But
AI should always scale up to your rank and how many players are in wing.
Yeah.
That way we can have much more interesting encounters.
Here's a good question.
It'd make the play kind of very diverse for each individual player as well. But yeah, sorry, Vindicator.
That's right. There's a good question here. Carl Sire Holding, I don't know how to pronounce that. Would you say that 2.1 update has improved or decreased the immersion believability of the Elite universe? I find the whole engineers thing as to be out of place as Power Play was.
For me, it's okay.
So just engineers.
The 2.1 update. We've gotten a lot of things that increase the immersion, like the comms chatter and different things like that, and the increased graphics that really increases the immersion. But then you've got the engineers, which really decreases it.
Yeah, it takes you out of the game a bit, doesn't it? That's the only thing I don't like.
I like the fact that you've got the engineers there. You've got these men and women out there in different places. They've all got their own personalities. They've got their own portraits now, and you've got the mission boards as well with different people's portraits. You've got all their own bases with the engineers. You've got the traffic control, like Chaos Wolf mentioned. There's a lot of things that I think ramp up the immersion in the game a whole lot.
I think the individual...
It's always the gameplay side of it, isn't it?
Yeah, the individual bases is brilliant. I think that's really great. I love how they've designed the bases. I love the traffic control. I just think it adds so much life to the universe. And I love the upgrade in graphics and everything. But again, once you're actually interacting with engineers, it just does. It feels like button clicking. There's no... I don't know. There needs to be something a bit more there.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we are testing it for fish, So, I mean, and we're doing it as a job. So
true.
It might be a little bit different from our perspective. And we don't really know how it's exactly going to be when it goes out. I mean, on the whole, though, it doesn't hurt it. It definitely adds something to the game. It does feel a little, outside of everything else. But again, if they had incorporated it into other aspects of the game that were already present, rather than making an entirely new, standalone add-on that is very obviously added into the game, if it was better incorporated, I think it wouldn't be so bad. It's just that the roulette wheel is probably what makes it so jarring.
I think you've got a point there.
The literal visual roulette wheel as well, is like I said earlier, that's what really ground my gears the wrong way. But sorry, again.
The need to add sounds.
Jackpot. I think it's because all of us have spent so much time hitting that roulette wheel. We've only see it in a negative way now. I guess if you're only doing
I spent thousands of fishes.
Yeah, like how many fish have we killed? A whole ocean full. And I think
we've decimated populations.
We've gotten so used to that. And maybe once you're only doing it every now and then, because you can only afford to do it every now and then, it won't be so jarring.
No.
By the way, that's a good question. Do you think there's enough variety to engineer bases? Because they supposed to be unique, but really, are they so unique?
Well, we've only seen a few of them so far, haven't we? There's going to be 30, isn't there? How many are in the engineers so far? Is there, what's there, 6 in there? Or is there about 8?
There's 8 I've got on my thing, but I think there's a few more.
Yeah. And there's going to be some out in deep space. If you remember, someone asked Michael Brooks about that, and he didn't want to, or was it Sandro? It might be Sandro. They didn't want to talk about the fact that there's potentially some out there a few thousand light years outside of inhabited space. So
I think it was more like he couldn't than he wouldn't, because I think they had they turned the thumb screws a bit more on him. Yeah. If he did.
Exactly, yeah. I think until that's out there on the live servers, we're not going to really know how varied the bases actually are.
I'd just like to say what my overall feel of the levels of immersion for 2.1 is. I think everything outside of actually going into the engineers' bases and actually rolling on stuff increases the immersion massively. Just actually going through the act of modifying a specific thing, that's the only bit outside of it. And for me, that
picking
feels like
a module, walking stairs down, putting inside your ship.
But yeah, I think that's everything outside of actually going to actually interacting with the engineers increases the immersion immensely. But I do think that the casino feel is kind of I'm happy to trade that off for everything else that we are getting. So I think overall it is a overall positive effect.
Yeah, I mean, if they just made it to where, like, the special effect on weapons, that's probably the biggest thing. If they just made it to where, if you wanted, a thermal cascade, or you wanted, the specific multi-cannons or what have you, that the recipe would change. Because, I mean, if you think about it from an engineering standpoint, they know what they're going to make. The ingredients that you would need to make multi-cannon shells that fired, thermic ammunition. You would need to have the proper materials to make the thermic ammunition and be able to make the barrels where they would withstand the extra heat and everything else like that. Mm-hmm. So the fact that it can just randomly become something entirely different with the same materials doesn't make sense.
By the way, about these weapons also, do you think it's smart moves that, in example, you have special abilities, but they are applied to every single class? I would say that Force Shell only should be for huge cannons, in example.
No, I reckon they should be applied to all, but just have varying degrees of.
I don't. I think it is the most. I think it is the most ridiculous in the small. Yeah,
in the small,
medium
exactly.
Medium is
small
kind
medium
of
maybe excluded.
Yeah,
but there are special
definitely.
Which probably would make sense to separate, not only for weapon but also for class of weapon.
Not sure about that.
I'd like to see it that the special effects were kind of separated off into their own unique category. So you could overcharge your weapons, do this, that, and the other, and that was just the slider stats. But if you wanted to add like a heal beam to your ship, you had to go and do a specific recipe for it. Maybe you had to go
on top of it, yeah.
Yes, on top of this as well. So it's even more materials.
So
there wasn't much rolling for it. It was just a thing.
You have what you want. Okay.
Yes. That'd be nice.
Yeah, but it was a separate process.
That'd be good. I'd love to have seen that. So that's what I thought it was going to be when I first.
I think everybody did
the newsletters. Yes.
No,
and when it wasn't, it was
random.
Random. Yeah. No, when I saw it was random, I did feel like I'd just been given a big kick in the nuts. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
but
same
most
here,
games have this exactly same. Well, most games have complete random. In Elite, at least, it's not complete random.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a point in their favour, but I've never really played any of the games where it's completely random. Like, I haven't played...
Division, for example.
Division, that was it. I've not played that one, so... I played generally exclusively Elite and a few other games like XCOM 2 and so on, so yeah, it was a new experience for me.
There we go.
Oh, yes.
So with the engineers then, we've got another bunch of them coming into the game. You guys considered that there's perhaps going to be things that we can modify that Frontier haven't discussed yet? Just perhaps on a superficial level, like, for example, the ability for having decals on the spoilers of the ship.
It is entirely possible. I don't doubt that they're going to have more things to to modify, because Frontier did say at the beginning of the beta that not everything is going to be in the beta. They are holding things back for full release.
Didn't they say they were going to? They were also going to be able to say you can do different skins or some moddable skins or materials for materials for your ship, as in how it looks.
I don't know. That's the first I've heard of this. I'll be honest, but I don't exactly have my ear to the ground when it comes to this, because I generally avoid the Reddits and the forums like the plague.
That's probably a good idea.
I have been told.
I don't know. I mean,
I think there's probably going to be a couple of things that we haven't heard about yet that are going to be added in.
I think one of the easier things to put in would be things like modifying specifically the color of your lasers, like so that maybe if you have an effect and it's just like the what's it phase, the one that kind of allows you to bleed damage through, because those are usually blue. But imagine that you changed them to green so that people thought it was a heal beam and then got very confused when you started damaging through their shields. It'd be a nice little kind of reverse psychology kind of thing. Not only that, but being able to change the color of your shields and stuff. These things I think a lot of people would like to do.
I'd like to change the color of my beams. Everything purple.
Or your thrust. Or your thrust, your exhaust gases from your engines.
The engine trails. That'd be cool.
Yeah, because there was that picture from one of the concept arts of the engineers' bases with the Fer-de-Lance flying in with blue engines, blue engine trails, rather than the normal the normal kind of pale yellow. So I imagine that's potentially possible.
Going back to something Obsidian said about further modules and changes, I think possibly we're going to be looking at alien technology. And possibly because the engineers deeper in space, they might deal with those alien technologies. That's a possibility.
I think that's entirely possible. I think that's almost a certainty, but we're not going to be seeing it yet, at least until we get the first alien incursion.
Real while, yeah. There's, after all, a whole load of blocked off sectors out there in space, isn't there? I think
there is.
A hell of
16,
a lot,
16 or 20 of them, if I remember correctly. A lot of them the same size
of aliens.
What do you think? Most likely have life in.
Stand any chance against Targoids? AI, which we have.
United we stand, divided we fall.
No, commanders, yeah, but does AI stand any chance against Targoids? If they stand, I don't want to see that Targoids. I don't want to see Targoids which can't kill these AI.
I hope the AI for the Thargoids is going to be a lot higher.
Well, I'm hoping
they should really work harder.
I want Thargoids to be completely overpowering, so when you go up against a Thargoid, you've got to really second guess where should I be doing this? Should I not be doing this? I don't want them to be a walkover.
And only the wing.
Yeah.
You're going to need a fully modified vulture.
Yeah,
we all know that thing's going to be overpowered.
I think that you're going to have to take full advantage of the engineers in order to even stand a chance against the Thargoids. That's what I'd like to see, because that would drive the sales for the game more as well.
There's also the chance there's going to be more than just one extra alien race, isn't there? I think David Braben mentioned a while ago there's going to be more than one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, StarCraft has taught us anything. You need multiple races.
We can see that already. We can see that already to begin with, because the unknown artifacts and the barnacles, they look very, very different. They do look like they've originated from two separate species.
Don't know, though. I mean, that's just stalled, hasn't it? That idea, that concept. Everybody got all excited when they first appeared, and then basically nothing. I just wish they'd developed that a bit more, but that's going beyond engineers at the moment. So
yeah, that is. But just the one last little point on this, John Bentley in the comments just said, "Bring on the Borg."
That's it.
But yeah, no, I would love to see some form of alien thing that made gameplay a lot more dangerous. But yeah, what else are we going to go on now?
Well, just to throw something out there, though, missiles. So happy they're scary again.
Oh yeah, but it looks like we're going to have to say goodbye to Obsidian for now because he's off now.
Oh, okay. Well, he probably might have accidentally disconnected. He's done this a couple of times.
No, I'm going to head off for a little while now. I've got a couple other things I've got to do. So
okay.
you all to it, and thanks for inviting me along.
No, thanks, mate. Thanks for joining in.
Thanks for joining us.
That's great. I'll see you soon, okay?
See you later, bud.
See you later, man. Now Obsidian Ant leaves, we're going to lose half the viewers.
No,
stay and listen to us.
We're not that boring.
We're just as interesting.
No, we're not.
We can open his channel and launch a video. So his voice will be...
Just pretend he's here.
Yeah. We'll have to get a soundboard for him for next time when he leaves next time. Just say, what do you think about that, Obsidian? I think it's okay. Just like the last episodes of South Park with Chefin.
Yeah. Took me
right.
Yeah,
it took me a bit. Well, I'm not sure.
What do you think about large and huge multi-cannon? Should it be nerfed or good?
Huge,
huge
needs to be buffed a bit more.
Yes.
Yeah,
it feels like for the size of it, it doesn't have the punch that it really should.
And it needs to be louder. It needs to be much louder.
No,
I want to hear
by
boof,
damage.
boof, boof, boof.
Is damage enough? Because it's insane. Damage is insane for large and huge. If you mod them.
If you mod them, yes, but not straight off the
standard.
bat. I mean,
But standard also, medium is also not impressive.
Yeah, but
that's the same reason I think the same reason I think the cutter still needs a buff, because it's it gets comparatively better.
Half
it's
of
still
ships
good
in
when
Elite
it's good or
buff.
bad it's bad. Yeah, but you know what I mean. So I mean, it's the same thing with the multi-cannon. The base is just going to be amplified by the same degree as the large and the medium and everything else like that. It's still going to be the same difference between them, just amplified. So yeah, I think it wouldn't be amiss to give it a little bit of a buff. And I agree with Vindicator. It needs to be louder, because I mean, sound in space, but still it needs to be louder.
Well, the vibration still comes through your hull. So
speaking of the sounds, though, I really love the sound of the large multi-cannon. It just reminds me of watching Predator for the first time in the scene where they're all seeing where the guy with the minigun goes psycho and just cuts down the entire rainforest. It just reminds me of that scene.
It just needs a spin up. It needs a spin up noise.
It does. And the fact that the huge multi-cannon is called a multi-cannon is kind of a bit of a contentious point as well, because it's actually a flat cannon.
Yeah, it's like a Bofors cannon.
Quadro cannon.
Yeah, it's like one of the old flat cannons and stuff that you see in like World War II ships and stuff. Just top and bottom, going boof, 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 boof. Yeah, that's not a multi-cannon. Yeah, it has comparably kind of a similar kind of feel to it, but it's still not a multi-cannon in my eyes. But it's still cool. Yeah. I still like it. I'm still going to be mounting it on my Corvette when I eventually get one, but I would still like it to just say flat cannon, like maybe to have its own little section or something. But just me being pedantic.
It's not multi-cannon; it's several cannon. Only 4. Yeah, but
yeah.
With mods, you can
huge,
crazy.
Let's not forget as well, we've now got huge lasers in the game as well.
Yeah, huge beams. I'm divided on them, to be honest. On my Fer-de-Lance, I'm not crazy about them, but on the Corvette, they're just psychotic.
I think I'm a bit... Yep, sorry, we lost you a little bit there, Cornelius.
We will have huge bursts also at some point.
Yes, we will.
For some reason, they thought to delay them, yeah.
Yeah, they apparently weren't finished in time.
What about huge fragment cannons and huge railguns?
Huge railguns. Please give me 2.
Oh my god! Huge railguns.
It's like bombs and a gun is gone.
I want a one-shot scrubs.
4 shells. Huge railgun should have 4 shells already on him. Shoot, it blows up and flies away.
Can you imagine having 2 large railguns on a Vulture and have it with the plasma slug upload? Firing one volley of that off, you'd completely deplete your fuel reserves.
It will overheat your ship like crazy. You can't handle on Vulture. On Python, maybe too, but also I doubt it. I've tried on Fer-de-Lance 4. You can't handle it anymore.
No, I just think it'd be hilarious. You're just there going in. You've just finished your fuel scooping. You drop out. You line up on the target. You fire, and the next thing you hear is main fuel tank drained. What? Shit!
You'd have to load up on fuel tanks like you would heat sinks.
Yeah.
One part if
you'd have to play in a wing.
Turns offline. No fuel means no power plant.
Yeah, it does. I know. So yeah, that is a good thing as well. Actually, if you do have the plasma slug, that's a thought that I never actually realised. Is if you put more additional fuel tanks in, that means that you're going to be able to get more shots out of it in total.
I always do
that's
that.
An interesting thing.
Yeah.
I never
have an extra shot.
Everybody wanted to have multi-cannon ammo to carry internal compartments. Now you can do that with plasma slug. Get fuel tanks, internal extra fuel tanks, and you can fire very, very long time. For explorers, actually, this plasma slug might be interesting.
Actually, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, what I'm concerned with as well, not concerned with, but I'm still on the fence with the huge beam laser because I think it's interesting, but I think the design choices, and especially the way it animates, is a little bit pulsating-ish.
They've changed that, though. It doesn't pulsate anymore.
Yeah, I didn't see it do that.
It just
still does a little bit. Depends on the heat level of your ship, really. Yes.
Oh, okay. Mine doesn't. I didn't see mine pulse. I mean, yeah, it did look pretty bad before. That was quite hilarious.
It did, didn't it? I couldn't help but blushing when I saw it. But I do like the huge pulse. Some people said that it could do with being made either brighter or have a reduction in fire rate, but an increase in damage per shot, just to make it seem like it's got more oomph behind each shot.
Right now, it's a bit
apparently
underwhelming.
A lot of people do say it seems a bit limp.
Well, that's kind of the same. Yeah, that's kind of the thing with all the huge weapons, though. They don't seem like any of them really do enough damage, and none of them feel like when you fire them that they have enough oomph. The only one it kind of does is the plasma accelerator.
And that was that. I still feel the plasma accelerators are a little bit underwhelming because they don't make the right kind of sound when they hit. It makes like a pop sound, and it just feels like I'm firing like bubbles at something. I'd like to see it actually fire off and have like a big plasma explosion with a huge one.
Oh yeah, no, I mean comparatively, like it.
Yeah, I know.
Of the huge weapons, it has more of that oomph factor to it when you fire it, but.
Oh, it does.
Especially if you watch the animation of that thing when it goes off, it's awesome.
Love it.
None of them feel powerful. None of them feel really like you have a huge weapon, and I think that's something for the future.
The huge beams on the Corvette are pretty powerful. On the Fer-de-Lance, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to work as well. But on the Corvette, I don't know, because it's got a bigger power distributor, it just really, I quite like it. So. But they're probably going to tweak it.
Especially if you modify the capacity to focus on weapons as well. That really helps because you get increased capacity and increased regen rate. So that
but the smarter is enhanced charge, actually. If you shoot non-stop, charge is much more important. If you shoot from time to time, capacity is much more important.
Oh, yeah, I know. But if you do, like I said, if you do...
charge enhanced.
Yeah, I'm just saying if you did weapon focused, it gives you both capacity and recharge. So
but charge speed is not 30%, only 15 round.
Yeah, they don't give you as high of a charge rate.
It will give you like 25 capacity and 15 charge speed. Yeah, so charge enhanced will give you twice that speed. If you shoot for a long time, you should go for charge enhanced.
Yeah, I've not had enough time to go and check all these specifically individually. I'm literally just rushing through ships.
Yeah. Same here. Actually, Chaos, you tried long range ASP Explorer, yeah?
Yes, I just.
What's the total jump range you can get?
I haven't checked it completely, like without anything internally, like just maxing it out, completely stripped out. But with my specific exploration build, I managed to get it to over 41 light years.
Mm-hmm.
But if I literally emptied everything out, didn't have any scanners, just made it purely for jump range, I'm pretty sure I could have got it a lot closer to 50.
Yeah, but without scanners, it's not exploration.
Exactly, I know. This is with...
You need to carry your own nav beacons and to scan it every time you jump.
Yes. No, I specifically set it up for exploration, and I got a little over 41 light years, and this is with an SRV in there. It's with all the scanners. It's with the ability to still boost, so you can land on planets more easily. I even did a drive tuning on it to make it easier to land on high gravity worlds, which I think is really good for exploration. For exploration, I think the biggest kind of modifications are going to be the shields to make them more lightweight, longer jump range, and drive tunings to make your drives more efficient for when you're landing on planets, so you can make the most out of smaller drives.
Yeah, sounds perfectly reasonable to me. I always outfit mine heavy though, because I just, it adds to the immersion for me. I don't, the whole outfitter feeling, go out there and have all the tools that you need in case anything happens, and I like to drop into unidentified signal sources when I'm out exploring because I get so bored. But that's me.
What can you find actually there? Have you tried beta?
I haven't tried it in beta, but I'm in the current release game. I do it. It's just like any other unidentified signal source.
Yeah, Obsidian's the only one that's been out trying exploration in the beta, and he's the one that's just left, funnily enough. So I think he's trying to keep tight-lipped about it. But no, it's he did say in one of his videos that the points of interest, at least, have almost completely disappeared outside the bubble. I don't know about unidentified signal sources, but I imagine that if you did see them out there right now, you'd probably only see unknown artifacts in them by now.
It makes sense.
Should be more points of interest out there. Must be more.
No, I mean, that's the thing where you have that crossroads of... Yeah, you have that crossroads of what makes sense and what's fun as a game, And do you? Because for me, I can't do exploration. I'll fall asleep.
Yeah,
but
I
really can't. I physically cannot because of the narcolepsy. So I can't do that. But if at what point do you have to subtract a lot? And I think that's what the whole winter is coming thing that's going on. I mean, that adds a little something to it. Just the thought of something being out there, is a ship out there really what it is, kind of thing, or will it show up as a Diamondback Explorer, and then it'll turn into some hexagon shape and kill you. We don't know.
Transformer.
Exactly. You know what would be funny if the ships, Thargoids, would have some kind of cloaking devices which change shape of ships. So you see Sidewinder or, like you said, Diamondback Explorer, and you think, wow, it's easy prey. You open fire and it transforms into something big and scary. Illusion like something.
With many limbs.
Yeah, I know, that'd be interesting.
We need surprises.
Surprises, known danger. Things to do other than listen to the drone of the frameshift drive going, and staring at planets. Why do we have to stare at planets to scan them? That I want to look at the planet, but I don't want to look at it dead on.
I know what you mean.
I want to fly past the rings as I'm scanning it.
I'd love to have something like limpets that get spread throughout the system that go and track down all the planets for you and scan them for you and come back with the information. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't know how people scan all the moons. I have no idea how people can do that.
I can't do that. I can't do that myself. I'm out exploring currently, but I'm in the neutron field, so I'm doing the dirty, cheap way of doing it.
But, stare at the bright object, going all moth mode.
It's not even a bright object. Neutron stars are just like a little pinprick. That's it. But what I do think is kind of interesting is the way that they were talking about the points of interest outside the bubble. They were saying that yes, outside the bubble, you won't see any more human-made points of interest of human origin. So what kind of origin are we going to start finding?
That's what I want to say. I want to find alien civilizations, alien tech, anything like that, even if it's stuff like from thousands of years ago, and
it'd be great.
That's what would get me interested in exploring.
Yeah, if we could find something like maybe a many thousands of years deserted exploration outpost, maybe of an advanced alien or an alien species of any description. We just come across this old ruins, like, what the hell is this? But I imagine things like that will be a bit more difficult to kind of implement until we get the ability to walk around.
Yeah, that'd be very cool. I'd love to see walking around, but I don't see that coming anytime soon.
I'm hoping it comes sometime within the next couple of seasons. Perhaps maybe not next season, but maybe the season after.
Walking around?
Yeah. Yes. At least in short, smaller areas to begin with. Like, around your ship, around the ship, around the certain parts of like the engineers' bases, maybe the what's the word? Look at the orbitals and so on. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, like
a loading bays and stuff.
Before then, though, I hope they make.
Yeah, sorry. Carry on.
Sorry, must be a bit of a lag there. But before then, though, I hope they make changes to the camera so that we can actually do a perspective, and we can have more control over the camera, so we can actually see these ships with a background. Because the cutter will take up the entire viewpoint. You can't get as good of a shot as you could with, like, say, an Eagle or something. It takes up so much room, and you get this cool vista.
Yeah, just imagine having the ability to walk around your loading area, and you've got your cutter there, and all the pit crews and everything are just fixing your ship, refueling it, putting the cargo in, and you can just sit in the observation area and just look down and just watch all the little ants at work.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be absolutely great.
Yeah, somebody, Alexei Jaegers, again, is pointing something out in the chat, but this is something slightly off topic. He says he's blowing stuff up for Archon delaying before I replace him. I think he's talking about the wild card event and the rise to power. So I don't
get rid of this. Who I smuggle to.
No, I don't want to get rid of him. I just want to get rid of maybe Edward Mahon or something. The one guy that looks really boring.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the wrath you would incur from the Alliance goers. That's all they have, man.
I know.
It's the only thing they got.
I know. I don't think we'd replace anybody. But for those of you who are wondering what the hell I'm talking about, there's an event going on with Frontier called the Rise to Power. It's where one of the player groups. I am actually the leader of the Wolves of Jonai, and we're in the running to become one of the first player powers. But we're kind of in the wing of the running, so we've got to beat out the other wildcard contestants, and then we've got to go into the main event. But shameless self plug over.
Commander
Commander
Outlandish Pixels said something which I think is absolutely necessary, and that's new cinematic tools. For people creating content like us,
it would be amazing.
They would give us more camera control. Oh, do anything for that.
I wish. You know what I think would be amazing? If we had an ability to basically hit a record button whilst we're in game, fly around, do what we need to do, like do like a combat sequence, go and land, and then press the stop. It'll load up into a separate file, which we can then open up in the client again, and then we can control the camera and everything around. That would be amazing, like similar to how they do in World of Tanks.
They do the exact same. They do the same thing in Star Trek Online. It saves the whole scenario, then you can load in that scenario and then control the camera. So I would kill for that.
Yeah. Oh, I would as well. I mean, I think Outlandish Pixel would benefit from that massively, because I'll plug his channel now, because he does a lot of Elite Dangerous content. Well,
he does.
Some outlet. He does, and his content is absolutely mind-bogglingly good for the kind of amount of editing that he puts into his work. So, if you haven't gone and checked out his channel, please go and do so. It's amazing.
I'll second that.
Cornelius Troy, you're supposed to be thirding and fourthing. Come on.
Sorry, half asleep. Thirding.
You know what I missed? I missed that limit could be increased for external camera. So they could multiply this current by 5 or even 10, so you can fly far away from your ship and just take whatever you want. That already would solve a lot of problems.
Just make it for private groups.
What's the difference? If you lose your ship in open, it's your fault. Why in solo?
I know, because I think you can have a combat. The argument is that they think you can somehow have a combat advantage while doing it in open, which I think is ridiculous, but that's what they're...
Well, still make it that you can't control it. Yeah, still make it so you can't control your ship.
How can you have an advantage if you are being shot at and you can't return fire?
Yeah. No, it's definitely...
like full control, where we fly in third person.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're never going to get a third person option in this game proper. Yeah. Solo will...
I mean just for cinematic purposes.
4K screenshots. Yeah. But I think the idea to have a lot more control over the camera would be amazing, because right now it is just really limiting. And even if they did, as Cornelius said, increase the range of the debug cam, even if it is just kind of proportional to the size of your ship, would be greatly a lot better, because trying to take screenshots and stuff for thumbnails, at least for YouTube, is a nightmare sometimes in the larger ships, especially in the cutter.
Yeah.
And
the other thing, though,
10 times, and you have already enough room for flying around. Yeah, make it so. I don't care.
Yeah, even if they went and did well, adding on to this, I'd like it that they actually increase the speed at which the camera moved, because especially around big ships, because that's a nightmare trying to navigate the debug cam around large ships.
Or if you could just adjust the speed, but get rid of those stupid boxes around things. I hate those boxes so much.
Oh yeah, the collision boxes. God.
I want to look at the details that you put into these ships. I really want to get close and look at them.
Yeah, I'd love to get some close-up footage.
Yeah, another YouTuber friend of mine, he was trying to do ship animations, like looking at how the landing gear comes out and the weapon ports open and close. He was doing a series on it, but he was constantly having to fight the collision boxes. It was a nightmare for him.
Also, on the SRV, the collision box on the SRV is huge.
Oh yeah, that's ridiculously huge. You don't even come anywhere near it, and you accidentally hit the collision box.
Oh yeah. But I find it strange that the ground doesn't have a collision detection, because the amount of times that I've accidentally clipped under the ground with the debug cam is ridiculous.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's possible. I don't know why. Why do we have it? Why? Remove it. Get rid of it. Ah! I hate those boxes so much.
Well, look, we're coming up to 2 hours, guys. I don't know if you want to finish up now.
Yeah, I was wondering what else we're going to carry on talking about at present. I think we've kind of exhausted all the topics.
Yeah, I've sort of run out. Unless we've got anybody with any specific questions out there in our channel, in the chat there. But yeah, I'm sort of run out, I think, for now.
Yeah, last call, guys.
I'd just like to say to everybody, like I said, I am currently in the running to become one of the first player powers. I would really appreciate if people would support me when the community goals come out around about the 2nd of June. I'm making no demands, just if you feel like it, please do come and help out. It would be amazing to get my group being the first player power. I won't rest until I get my ugly mug in the game.
So if anybody
usually when you ask somebody to help, they will do exactly the opposite.
I was about to say, if anybody wants to come and join me and help me fight against this, I would gladly welcome you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I forget that's Vindicator's part of Adal's Armada.
Oh, yeah, I haven't played with them for a while, but yeah.
No, I was surprised when we actually got second in the came second in the voting. We only came second. We only basically lost out to the whole of Russia.
Really? What team do they have playing for?
I can't remember it. I can't remember the name of it. I'd have to go and check it out in the newsletter. 1 second.
Oh yeah, but we haven't
carry on talking. I'm just checking it out. I'm just currently googling it. So.
We haven't really discussed NPCs, have we? Or
PCs? No, we haven't. Yeah, I was really happy that they changed it. Actually, really, really happy because it did make sense. But the thing I was noticing is it would completely ruin conflict zones because everybody would just run off chasing each other, and you could be in the center of a conflict zone and there'd be nothing happening because all the NPCs chased each other off.
Yeah, now they just run away when. They did. They ran away when you knocked their shields out, which is extremely frustrating. Thankfully, that's been dialed back.
Yeah, quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
they don't run even when they should run. Like I kill Anaconda and Wing of Sidewinders, still with Anaconda and 2 remains, and they are fighting me. Shields down, they are still fighting.
As to the question of who it was the EG pilots. They beat us out by. Yeah, they had 25% of the votes, and we had 15% of the votes.
There you go. Anyway, as in AI improvements, I think small ships are now much tougher than what they used to be. But I still think larger ships need a bit of an improvement.
Yeah, the larger ships still feel like they fell out of the dumbass tree and hit every branch on the way down.
Small wings of small ships are actually now a bit scary if you're in something a bit slow.
Oh yeah. If you're in a sluggish ship, you're fighting. Yeah, fighting a bunch of small ones.
I want to see bigger wings.
Oh,
wings that are actually not composed of Sidewinder and Anaconda, but something like Ferdelances, couple vultures, couple Anacondas, something funny mix.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see that kind of thing.
It's nice ranking. If you are a lead, you should see elite NPCs. If you don't see, because seeing masters are quite annoying, and if you need to rank up, masters will give you almost nothing. Killing masters,
exactly. Yeah,
hey, I'm a
makes
master.
no sense to kill them.
I never ranked up beyond that. My first elite's going to be exploration.
To me, it makes sense to give us challenge, and because we are very different. Somebody is just start playing the game. Somebody plays for 2 years almost. Somebody even more than 2 years, and we need to have scalable AIs that actually reacts to players, to their amount of wing, skill level, combat level.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going into a hazardous res site, you should be seeing deadly and above. You should not be seeing masters in a hazardous res site. That's what
and not eagles and sidewinders and diamondbacks.
Yeah, you know.
I want to see cap out at the high intensity.
I want to see wings of elite anacondas. That'd be terrifying.
Yeah. I would wing up with friends and have fun.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know what would be much more fun? An example: there's an anaconda. You kill it, nothing happens. Comes another anaconda from same faction. You kill it, nothing happens. Only you sometimes get these messages, your reputation is lower to unfriendly, you are hostile. It's not interesting. If you kill somebody, after 5 minutes, you should have like a wing of 10 ships, huge ships, big, large, juicy targets, that will come here only with one reason to kill you, because you just killed 2 of their faction friends, buddies.
Yeah. As long as, if you're in a high security zone, there should be less of them. If you're in a low security zone,
they are pirates. They should protect their own buddies.
Yeah. They should send out like like an emergency
kill squad
message, and like they come in.
Yeah. Somebody was asking about the levels of interdictions. Have they gone down and so on? Like, are you still getting interdicted whilst you're in your Corvette by a Sidewinder? One of the ways of interdiction has actually gone up is if you're in power play. If you're a member of power play, you get interdicted like nobody's business. By the other powers.
But I defected during the beta because I got tired of it.
Me too. Yeah, but they are interdicting this small crap as well.
The thing is, they now in 1.6 2.1, I've noticed that if you are associated with a power play power, everybody else's power play NPCs will just attack you without provocation. They go, "Oh, you're with the enemy. We must kill you," and then start attacking you. So it kind of makes it a bit more risky.
Ruined power play. More than it was.
That's a good question. I haven't tested this myself, but Drugi has asked, has instancing improved when trying to wing up with your friends? I haven't tried it in beta, to be honest.
We were doing a big massive event last night, actually. We were doing a big massive event in the beta blowout last night, actually, with dozens of commanders, and there were still instancing problems in 2.1. We were trying to get everybody together outside a certain station just to do a big massive battle royale, and still the instancing issues were there. So I don't think
peer-to-peer can't be fixed unless all world will get good internet connection. Peer-to-peer will always have instancing problems.
Yeah, true.
They need servers, then it would fix this problem.
Yeah, I don't understand the kind of the background mechanical issues of this like you guys do. So I'll leave this. I'll defer to you guys on the opinions of this.
So I don't expect they ever fix instancing problems.
I think they can make it a little bit better than what it is, though. I mean, some other games seem to get it a bit more right than what Elite Dangerous does, but who knows? I don't think adding servers is going to solve anything because that's just going to cost money. I don't think people want to spend more money.
Yeah, but same time, server-based architecture does not require so much. Well, if you have server-based information storage, cheaters will go away much more. It will be much harder to cheat if server is controlling all.
True.
So peer-to-peer is kind of opening doors to cheaters.
Yeah, there was a question that was asked of them at one point, especially. There was actually, I think this was raised during last night's event, actually, with Zach Antonacci. It was, has Frontier considered potentially making Elite a monthly subscription kind of thing just to help pay for the upkeep of servers? And they said that currently that's not on their radar at the moment. It might be something that they might consider in the future, but right now they're just not considering it. At least that's what I took away from that conversation.
Well, the question is, would you guys pay a monthly subscription? I'd pay it if it was like a relatively...
I'd pay it in a heartbeat.
You know, if it was reasonable, I'd pay it.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I mean,
it depends. Usually I avoid all games with monthly subscriptions. I just avoid them normally.
The thing is, the amount of games I've played with monthly subscriptions, like I played Star Wars, The Old Republic, I played Age of Conan. I played so many of them. I don't play any monthly subscription games now, ever since I kind of got Elite, but it wouldn't bother me because let's not forget that the demographic of players for Elite is very different to any other MMOs. Most people that play Elite are of the older persuasion. They're like 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe even 60s. And these are people that can afford these kind of things. Not little kids, or at least not in the majority.
Yeah, I think
we're still messing with cartridges.
Oops.
Yeah, sorry, I just got a big massive blast of everybody talking at me. It's like a shotgun to the ears.
Yeah, perfectly timed.
It was.
I was just making the joke that we're still using cartridges. It's just a bad joke. Carry on.
Well, yeah, I think it's a contentious point. I think a lot of people would be peeved if that happened, but I can understand that people who may not be so financially secure would have issues with it. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting subject.
Think it'd be nice. Would it be possible, I wonder, to make it like people that want to pay a subscription could go on to have their accounts moved over to the servers, and those that don't just stay as they are with peer-to-peer. Would that be possible? I don't know. I doubt it, but I'm not very technically minded.
Right, I doubt it will ever happen with servers.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I doubt it as well. It was just a point that was raised last night.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I mean, I wouldn't use it for a multitude of reasons, primarily of which because I couldn't afford it, but beyond that, would just really be because they have an opportunity to make money outside of a subscription with with skins and things like that. And I don't, I mean, they've been putting out some better ones lately, but like the solid color skins, why isn't that just available in the game? I mean, you would think that's just a basic color should be something you could buy with credits, but
I am actually honestly shocked that there is such a limited amount of skins and decals. I mean, I know Troa and myself both play MechWarrior Online, and there's so many different skins and color combinations you can do, and I just don't understand why they don't do that in Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, hopefully they charge less than they do in MechWarrior, but otherwise...
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, MechWarrior is kind of a pricey game, so...
Yeah.
They do have a great like a garage system and the patterns and everything that you can apply first and then apply colors to them. I think that's something that they really should implement with an Elite, where you just buy the patterns and you can change the colors with credits.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, they could do so much for that.
I mean, they even had design competitions a while back for new skins, and there was so many great skins there, and just like none of them have been implemented.
No, there was supposed to be like a Medusa one that came in, and that we haven't seen that in the store yet. It was supposed to come in 2.0, I think, but that hasn't been seen yet. So,
and the Banana Conda hasn't been seen.
The Banana Conda, yeah. There's lots of things that haven't shown up, and I'm wondering why. But Because a lot of my wolves have been wanting a Wolfpack centric, specific Wolfpack skin that we'd be able to buy in the store. And a lot of these guys would happily pay for it. I mean, I would, especially on the Python. I own every single paint pack on the Python that there is currently.
That'd be nice if. I mean, I'm just. It'd be nice if we had our own decals and just saying, be all right.
Yeah. No, even if you could actually request to have one put in or something, even if it was just sold. Because decals, I can't imagine that they'd have a lot of design effort to be put in, a lot of resources into making a decal. Like, oh, here's our thing, just make it into what you need, put it on the store, we'd happily buy it. I don't see why this isn't a thing, because I'd love to have a Wolfpack logo on my ships. But alas, it is sadly not going to happen, at least not yet.
No. Okay, well, do we have anything more to discuss about Horizons? We've gone way over 2 hours now.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we better call it now.
I think we better, because we could just waffle on all night, I think, and people are just going to end up hating us.
We will meet in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
More or less, and discuss live build, how we like what we have.
Yeah.
Now we just tried beta, but we can't even say how many fishes materials will replace, how many waste hours it will take.
Yeah, because right now we're kind of doing it in the most optimal circumstances. So until it goes live, until we've had a couple of weeks to kind of play around with it, we're not going to really know exactly what we feel about it.
That's exactly
and also
right.
Tweaks will be applied, a lot of tweaks.
Yes.
On Thursday, we will be surprised probably with some weapons and special abilities. Hopefully
Yes.
not in bad way.
Oh,
We
I
need to
hope
test
so
them.
as well.
Oh, I'm sure some of it will be, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure they'll do a lot of tweaking again in another couple of weeks anyway.
Yeah, sure. That's why, we can't now comment on PvP loadouts and metas.
That's it.
It seems that Thermal Cascade might be top choice if it remains like it's now, but it might change in a blink of an eye.
It could very well do. I'm looking forward to seeing how things change. I'm curious to see if they're ever going to swap out the ability to have the special effects on weapons be their own unique little thing where you have to specifically ask for that one. I doubt it's ever going to happen, especially with the favor system they brought in, because they seem dead set on the way it is at the moment. But we'll see if enough nagging will change their minds.
You know what? Let's demand from Frontiers module storage space, because it's quite annoying.
If
Please,
you listen
Frontier,
to this,
give us storage space.
If you're listening to this, give us storage, or otherwise we're going to come around there and do something terrible to you.
Because
you know what we're going to do? We're going to get a truck full of fish, and we're going to pour it straight through your front door.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to get some raw fish and put it through the office door.
You'll catch them in Australia.
That's
sent
it.
by mail.
Damn straight.
Australian fish are the most deadly.
Just send a raw fish by a courier pack every day to their offices until they finally get the hint.
But
okay.
I am actually, on a positive note, I am very kind of eagerly anticipating the way the game changes are going to be, especially for like exploration, trading, and so on, combat. The way the ships are just going to be tweaked and changed. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the community goes and optimizes this for each different ship build. So 2 weeks. I'm curious to see what monstrosities the community has managed to Frankenstein together.
I feel sorry for all the traders that are going to get interdicted by modified clippers and things like that.
Torpedo boats.
Yeah, torpedo boats and their Type 7s. Oh man, those Type 7s. They're gonna get ripped to shreds. I feel so sorry for them.
Type 9
and Type 9s.
Dead.
Yeah. Oh no, they're gonna be terrified. But the worst bit is, as soon as I get back from my current exploration trip, I'm gonna start trading. So I'm gonna be really in the hot seat.
Yeah, I don't envy you.
I think a lot of people are going to be swapping to solo.
The NPCs will get you now.
Yeah, the NPCs have the mods. I've had my ships taken out by the police force because they've had the weapons that cause random malfunctions, and my ships. I'm there trying to get away, and my drives keep turning off, and my And my frameshift drive keeps turning off while I'm charging. It's like, no! And the next thing I'm dead.
and you know, Braben forbid you're aligned to a power because you're going to get interdicted by all the other powers and you're not going to be able to trade.
It's not going to even be worth being aligned to a power. It really won't be.
I hope they change that, because if I do become a power, I want people to be aligned to me. Hashtag walls of power.
Yeah, they need to. If you're going to be trading when Engineers is released, just get off of the whole power play thing. Just
definitely, just leave it.
Defect, get away from it as fast as you can, and get shields and mod your boosters.
Oh yeah, just so you can get out of there much faster. Yes, but again, we're waffling again. We're doing it again.
We're doing it again. All right, well, I'm going to call it. Let's go out. Thanks for showing up and having a chat, guys. It's been freaking awesome. And hopefully we'll get back together again in a couple of weeks and see what happens.
I'll be here in 2 weeks, definitely.
Cool.
Don't know about Trevor, though.
Yeah, they never know with me.
No, we don't. You're like Schrodinger's commander. We don't know if
we don't know if he's there or not until he shows up.
Till we open the box. Anyway, guys, I'll say thanks for coming along. I've been Commander Chaos Wolf. Keep flying and stay shiny. That's me out of the way. Everybody else?
I just want to thank everybody who's shown up and enjoyed the stream, and thanks for coming. So I said that twice, or 3 times now.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to us.
Catch you guys next time.
See you later, guys. Bye.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye.